I'm targeting perch in the margins, lots of lilies coming through, underwater vegetation, and of course a few gaps that you can drop a bait into. And that's the first fish of this very short session. It's nice enough perch when you consider it's just inches deep. I'm fishing with a very small float. It's a Drennan Waggler, no shot at all on the line, and then I've got a size 14 hook with a couple of maggots. So I'm just dropping the bait, not even casting, but just dropping the bait or dropping the float in a gap between the vegetation. That's sinking. It's about 12 inches. It's on the bottom. I'm putting out a few loose offerings and I'm sitting back and waiting for the float to go. I can also see what's happening, but of course you don't want to get too close to the water, because the rule of thumb generally is that if you can see the fish, there's a very good chance that they can see you. The second one, quite lively. A lovely fish when you consider just how shallow it is there. Just shows, doesn't it, that sometimes there are bigger fish lurking almost beneath your feet. Where I'm sitting, I can see a pike coming into the spot that I'm fishing. It's about 2 pounds and very clear water, and it's hanging around exactly over the place where I'm putting the maggots in. So obviously it scared the smaller fish away. So what I did was, because it came even closer, I just dropped the rod tip down and touched it, thinking that it would then bolt. It didn't move. I prodded it a bit more, well, poked it a bit more, and then it just went around in a very small circle, just about 6 inches or so, came back. I did the same thing again. It's now come back, it's just sitting there. It makes me think that if I go in there with a net, I could probably catch it. I think I'm going to have to switch to a different spot though, because the pike is just suspended there in the water over the little hole that I'm dropping the maggots and the bait into. In spite of the pike lurking around, this perch was hungry enough to get in on the action as the maggots fell through the water. I throw a few loose ones in first, then I drop my hook bait in, and it wasn't long before I got this one on the bank. Sadly that perch is no more, because I returned it just down to my left and the pike came along, massive swirl, and it's taken the perch. I can see the pike down there. I'm going to try and get some footage of that pike in the shallows. I can see the fish down there, but there's too much reflection, so it's not coming out on the iPhone. I'll tell you what though, it's fascinating watching fish, isn't it? You learn so much about their behaviour when you're able to observe them. Caught a few more perch, smaller ones, then I got into this roach and the pike took it while I was bringing it in. Look at the state of that. That fish, sadly, is not going to survive. It will be a pike meal though, and that's the nature of the beast. Fish eat fish.